This is the Two Pink Tits podcast. Two tits, no limits, one mission.
Hello, Queens. I'm Coach Darling, your go-to pink queen for prosperity, passion, and perky perspective. And I'm here with my better half in sass, strategy, and my twin boob, the one and only, a little coach with a whole lot of fire, Amy.
Together, we're your double trouble duo behind the Two Pink Tits. The podcast that gives you the lift on all things real, raw, and ridiculously relatable. We've been in a relationship for 3 years, and by the end of 2024, we officially joined forces in business and badassery to bring this bold, boob-powered podcast to life. Each episode, a full cup or two of juicy convo from prosperity, purpose, and personal growth to the unfiltered, saggy, and sometimes unclassed moments of being human.
We're not here to preach, teach, or pop out perfection. We're here to share the lived in, laughed through, cried about, sometimes what the fuck parts of our journey, boobs, brains, and all. So if you're into honest chats, hot takes, deep dives, and maybe just the occasional nipple slip of wisdom, you're in the right place.
Two coaches, two perspectives, two unapologetic pink tits, keeping it real, raw, and a little risque. Bravo, babe.
Shall we dive in?
Queens, hold on to your lace bras because today's episode is equal parts bold, hilarious, and wildly human.
And our VIP guest is someone who knows how to command a room, crack open taboos, and turn vulnerability into pure power. All while making your granny snort laugh through her tea.
Serving cleavage and clarity through tea. So she's a comedian, actress, voiceover powerhouse, and director. She's performed for presidents and pensioners, and her mic is basically an extension of her soul.
It's the unstoppable, the unfiltered, the unapologetically raw Nina Hastie. Let's go.
Oh, thank you so much. That was quite the intro. Wow. Thank you.
Welcome.
That's make your granny snort laugh through your nose. Did I write that?
Well, welcome, Nina, to the Two Pink Tits podcast. So, girl, first things first, on a scale of zen calm tits goddess to absolutely boobs spilling out of the top unhinged, where are you sitting on the scale this week, girl?
You know, I'm actually I bought 2 new bras this week, funnily enough, actually. Bras are something that get neglected. You you can sort everything out and then you land up wearing that one that only has one wire and then the thing that back and then the things twist at the top the whole time, but you can't find the other strap to the other thing. And then you're like, oh, shucks, let me use the straps for the other, so eventually, I did a campaign for Woolies, and then part of the thing was they gave me a voucher. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just buy some bras and pajamas, the 2 things that I neglect in my life. Yeah. So I'm wearing a new bra this morning.
Nice. Spicing it up with a good boob lift.
Yeah, a bit of boob lift, at 42, it needs a bit of a how's it otherwise. I actually have had the most incredible week. I've had a lot of really good feedback about stuff. I had a bit of a wobbly last night on my podcast, Shampoo Mbali. I gave her such a cuck interview because I was so worried. I'm not so worried. I was just like, miff. And then, yeah, but actually, whatever. It is what it is. You're also allowed to be miff. But I was miff for no reason because I'm back at the gym. I'm exercising. I quit smoking cigarettes. I did I'm doing all the things that I'm happy about. I'm back on diet. I'm like when I say back on diet, as in magnesium at night, sunlight in your eyes in the morning. I'm actually in a really good place. So yesterday was just weird.
Nice. Well, I mean, we all have those weeks, right? From underwire to unleashed. We never know quite what's going to happen, right? So I think that's incredible. And thank you for wearing a new bra for this podcast. I mean, I feel honored.
Bravo to that. I love that lifting moment.
Hilarious.
Okay, let's dive into your origin story. So, Neens, how comedy became your path and how it shaped your perspective. So let's go back. Was there a moment when you knew comedy wasn't just your talent, but it was actually your ticket to success?
Yeah, I wanted to be a DJ. I think I still want to be a DJ. Okay. I think I'm a frustrated DJ. But when I wanted to become a DJ, it was very expensive to start.
Yeah.
You needed to have turntables, you needed to have vinyls, you needed to spend money on records. If you weren't getting gigs, you wouldn't have been able to buy records. I was like, this is serious overhead heavy.
Yeah.
How else do I become famous?
I love that.
And then I used to hang out with a bunch of like the DJs and the comedians were all friends. My boyfriend at the time was a DJ. And he was like, no, listen, if you want to be a DJ, you must have your own records. You can't be using mine the whole time. And that was actually quite good, eh? Yeah, no, listen, I could juggle and like I could.
Sure.
Yeah, just do it as a side hustle.
Yeah,
Get
side
it
hustle.
as a hobby. We love it.
DJ.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of like actresses and stuff that are like crossing over into like being DJs, and then it's going to look like I'm jumping on a bandwagon when actually that was my original bandwagon, and I don't like bandwagons.
I love that because, Nins, we were actually talking about this yesterday, how, we start out with a dream, you wanted to be a DJ, but you just sort of got to a point where you saw that was not going to happen. So you had to find another way. And I mean, I know quite a lot of your story, and it's incredible to have seen the transformation and how you actually picked another road that turned out probably even better than the DJ route. I mean,
listen, you've known me at least a decade.
At least a decade, yeah.
I was looking at my first paycheck from Owen was in 2013.
Yeah, there you go. It was just after the World Cup. I met you just around the World Cup when Coca-Cola was doing all the sponsorships. And you were getting booked a lot for voiceovers. So for our listeners, Nina and I connect through my post-production sound job, where she was voiceover and I was engineer. So we've had a lot of fun times in studio. And this woman is the most phenomenal voiceover artist I have worked with in over a decade. And she is absolutely not slowing down in any capacity at all.
Thank you. That's very, very kind. And I think what always like left an impression on me is you're also, a female sound engineer. It's very rare, like a female comedian. We were occupying spaces that other people weren't occupying. So it was also really refreshing for me to come into the studio and have a sound engineer that can make you feel comfortable. I didn't obviously have the experience that I have now, and you were always very gracious with me. So like if I'd walked into a session and you were the engineer, I'm very, very happy because it makes you feel, they talk about this, like representation matters, and like, having another person in the space. And I was even talking to Mbali about this yesterday. I was saying it's not so much the comedians we were trying to win over and were we accepted by the comedians. It's like, were we accepted by the audience?
Exactly.
Does the audience know what a woman's perspective on stuff is like? Because we've been hearing men's perspective for 2,000 years, okay? Men's perspective on religion, men's perspective on sex, men's perspective on marriage, men's perspective on mothers, on whores, on queens, on whatever it is. Like, that's a whore, you can't marry her. Oh no, that whore is pretty, so I'm gonna make her. And it's all like in relation. Like men have heard themselves in stories. So now when women are telling stories, a lot of men are like, yo, women aren't funny because they can't picture themselves in the story. They lack imagination because they've been fed information in their guise, GUISE, not GUYS, in their guise and through that window. So if I'm coming to a perspective, I've got this whole set now where I talk about how, like, I talk about ugly men being better at sex, and then I go on about how ugly men really are, and like how, and I'm just like, it sounds very like men bashy, and I'm like, no, it's not men bashy. I'm just trying to do you guys all a favor, like stop wearing skinny jeans, please, for the love of God. Like, can men in their 40s with big stomachs stop walking around looking like fizz pops. Like it's just like a lollipop, like this big stomach and these teeny little legs. And now like I must date something that came out of a lucky packet. Anyway, but
hilarious. I love it.
And also with their short shorts as well, like riding up in places that you don't want to see.
I'm not diverse to a bit of a thigh, hey?
Rugby shorts. A bit of a
I like the rugby shorts. No complaints from my side. No complaints. I like anybody in a short. I like legs. Legs
you are hilarious. I love it. So your career has invited people into the messy, painful, and sort of powerful brand that is you. How did you take that and sort of build this gigantic personal brand that is you now?
Well, it was a plan. It was never a mistake. I'm very strategic. I'm also people might think that I'm impulsive. Like every single overseas trip, I've bought the ticket like the day before. But if you look at my search history for the 18 months prior to that, it's like, what is the weather like in this place? How do you greet? Like I don't buy stuff unless it's been on my list, even though it seems like I just bought it, impulsively because there was a sale on. No. Everything in my life has been strategized. I was like, how do I solve for getting onto comedy stages? Okay, you can't get onto those comedy stages unless you're famous. Okay, but you're a fat white woman from Pretoria East. How are you going to get, you're not the brief. So how do you get onto these stages where you can supersede your gender and supersede your race?
Love it.
So I was already somebody that's very integrated into cross-cultural, life experience because, a lot of my friends are people of color and I'm very immersed in South African culture. I don't treat this country like I'm a visitor,
Yes.
So incorporating that sort of gender, race neutral brand was very authentic because that's who I was. But I just wanted to make sure that Nina Hastie, this is the problem I was solving for. Nina Hastie is a curious and interesting South African. That's the brand. And I did a SWOT analysis on myself because I was I was an alcoholic, right? As an alcoholic, I lost everything. I was on the bones of my ass. Almost happened again recently, not being an alcoholic, but just having to start again. But I was like, okay, what is the machine that I need to make my life happen? Okay, the machine I need to make my life happen is my brain. So I guess I better get this fucking brain of mine together. Can't afford, I couldn't afford therapy, but what I could afford to go to were AA meetings where there were support groups and shit like that. So I went to support groups and I went to AA meetings and I got as much free therapy as I could, where I could get a lift there or something. I didn't have a car, I didn't have transport, and I didn't have money. And what I did have were other resources. My parents let me move in with them for 3 months while I got back on my feet. And I Googled how to do a business plan, Googled how to do a 360 brand plan, Googled how to do a SWOT analysis. And then I just looked at what are my strengths? And my first strength was voiceovers. Okay, cool. This is the low hanging fruit. This is the first port of call I can have a quick win with. Okay, cool. So let's focus all my energy on voiceovers for now. While we work on that, we'll develop the other sides of my career because this can then sustain me for the next thing. And this is an exercise that I suggest everybody do because I also forgot about that. I tried to do a pivot in 2023 and I didn't clutch control properly. So I put all my acceleration into my well-being project and took the foot off Nina Hastie when I actually needed Nina Hastie to be funding that.
Yes.
So I lost momentum with Nina Hastie and then the funding pulled out of Otherwise You Well and I was left with overheads and no momentum and it was just a fuck up. And it sort of almost made me quit, but I know that I need to do this well-being stuff. A comics approach to well-being is my jam, it's stuff I'm obsessed with. I'm very obsessed with it. Yeah. And then I just got back from Slovenia and I got booked by an organization called the Wellbeing Project for a global summit with 1,000 delegates from 89 countries. And they focus on the well-being of change makers. And, people that in the field of neuroscience, in civil engineering, in climate change, in peace talks, in whatever change maker you are, what is the point if the well-being of the change maker isn't considered? So a lot of it was about that. And I did my set. So I did comedy in that context, and I got like a standing ovation. It was very cool.
Nice.
It made me feel like, oh, this is my tribe.
Nice.
Oh, these are my people. This is the place I can be my most authentic without having to like solve for problems or like solve for something. Like I can just be myself.
Ah, that is absolutely, what a brilliant story. And like, Nina, like you are magical at manifestation. I mean, ladies, pay attention. This woman she made a plan. She put it out there. She, hit the bottom and said, well, fuck it, let's go. And, this is how we do it. We don't cover up, we uncover truth.
Yes, we do. So now you've already, taken off some masks of yours and stripped down to the deep identity. So you've spent time on many stages, physical and emotional. Neens, where did you learn to be that honest with an audience?
When you learn how to be that honest with yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
You can't be a good comic until you know who you are. I only became a good comic literally this year.
Yeah. And I mean,
that's was very, like pandering to the audience, wanting to be liked instead of like actually just being myself. I think now for the first time I know who I am, and I've got the comedic chops to support being able to tell the stories of being myself.
And was it hard to find that sort of honest, real, raw truth? Was it, how was that progression to get to this voice that is you now?
I think I've always been very honest with myself. I just didn't have the comedic experience to translate the honesty onto stage.
Yeah. That is hard.
And you have to get to a point where you don't care.
Hashtag bring the 40 plus I don't care era.
You wake up, the two things happen when you turn 40. One, you have to pull your phone away from your face so that you can read what it says.
Correct.
And two, you don't give a fuck. You don't give
Okay, well, I personally haven't reached the 40s yet, so maybe I have that no care attitude when I do turn.
Means I'm with you, girl. 41, proud and out there. My phone is at least an arm length away from me. So we bring the heart, the heat, and a hella good boobs. So, Neens, what mask do you think that you've worn for way too long that you finally took off? Like, what's the mask that you just wore for too long and you just said, enough, I'm done with this mask, and you took it off?
It's actually quite funny. I'm actually a very nice person, and a lot of people think I'm like this hardcore ball-busting bitch. Like, actually just like very gentle and very soft.
Yeah.
And I've actually revealed the softness. Yeah. As much as I don't care in the way that I need your approval of being myself.
I love that. That's amazing.
That is incredible. That's a booby, full frontal truth right there. So we obviously now going to add some South African flavor to a few of these questions. So what is it truly like being a woman in comedy in South Africa? What are the rules you've broken and the ones you've completely rewritten?
This helped me recently because I was looping about something. So essentially, I made a joke about a comedian. Like, it wasn't actually a personal joke. I was just using them as the butt of the joke, right? Because we all kind of roast each other. Yeah. And it hurt him. And I felt so bad that it was hurtful towards him personally that I couldn't sleep for like 6 weeks. Yo. It was really like yucky for me. But the thing is, those guys roasted me. Every comic that came up roasted me the whole night. And I'm also just used to it. Like, if you've watched the actual roasts, I've been like ripped to shreds for the last like maybe, I don't know, 15 years of my comedy career. They've been able to say whatever they want, whatever, like, I'm just a punching bag. Whereas if you say one little thing about a man, they get very, very upset. But everybody's allowed to say something about me. So I don't like that. But it's so that the issue is not me not dealing with being roasted. It's that I don't like roasting so much. You know, I don't like it when other people get hurt, because that's always kind of been my thing. Punching down is when someone else is hurt. And that's my rule. If somebody says they're hurt, then I will retract what I said. So, okay, so that's the one part.
Right.
The second part is, if you want to be a supreme athlete, you cannot choke. You know, there's a difference between someone who can play tennis and somebody that's a champion. And the champion is someone that can overcome any obstacle. If it's the vibes in the cloakroom, or whether it's the sponsors not coming on board, the great person overcomes all of that. So I had to have a little come to Jesus talk with myself and say, Nina, are you going to let this get to you and choke on the fact that, you know, you hurt someone's feelings, or someone might not like you or whatever? Or are you going to just fucking keep going? So that I grappled with that for about 3 months. And then I remembered who I was, and that I want to be great and not just good. So I got over it.
Now let's just adjust the straps on that thought. And, you know, I just wanted to tell you how phenomenal you are and standing in your power of being a woman, because we never get the same playing ground. And I just want to tell you that you are fucking amazing, and you are going to be the supreme athlete in this. And I can't wait to see how it turns out. So
Thank you.
let's move on to our signature boob moment. So this is kind of the segment part of the Two Pink Tits, where we kind of just have a little boob moment. So, Neens, this is what's been your biggest boob moment? So like a bold move, a public flop, or a risk that turned out fabulous.
It's not even mine. It's my mom's story. Can I tell the story?
Please tell us.
Okay, so my mom had breast cancer when she was like 36. Okay, she was quite young. She survived. And then after she'd had her mastectomy, she had this prosthesis that she wore before she had her reconstruction. And they were at a braai one day, and there was this guy named Gary who was just giving my mom shit, like as one does, because my mom is also a 5'2" Serbian woman with a black belt like me. And,
so nice and feisty.
Yeah, very feisty. Anyway, so he's like, she must have been just younger than me now that I think about it. So weird. Anyway, So he's like giving a cuck, and she turns around, she pulls the prosthesis out of her bra, and she slaps him on the forehead, and she puts it back. And and then I don't know, it was either she or him that said, well, I bet you feel like a bit of a tit now, you know?
That is brilliant.
That is a fabulous moment.
Exactly. And you know what? I've based a lot of my life on that premise. Like, I will take the prosthesis out and slap you on the forehead with it, because let's destigmatize the bullshit and use the strength, use the pain and turn it into a funny narrative.
Oh, I love that.
Exactly. There's no padding, just straight up truth. We love it. So now we're diving into the rapid fire rebel round, which is just a few quick, fast-paced questions. Say it with your boobs. Don't think, just use your brain. Okay, Neen? So the best compliment you've ever received?
I didn't know you were white.
I love it.
that.
Okay, the next one is, what outfit? So you can be detailed, hats, whatever. Would your inner child choose if they were watching you now?
I think my inner child is currently taken over my wardrobe anyway, because I kind of dress like a 12-year-old. So I've started collecting. I'm a big BTS fan. I'm an ARMY, so I'm into K-pop and I'm into anime and stuff. So merchandise of my favorite K-pop stars and anime merch. That's basically.
Nice.
I'm already living it. So
Nice.
That's the reality.
Love it.
Brilliant.
Okay, the joke that landed in the crowd the best.
My new favorite joke, and it keeps killing, because every woman can relate to this. I wish my brain and my vagina had the same taste in men.
Oh, that is magic. That is magic. Okay, right. Wildest DM you've ever received. Maybe it was a picture. Maybe it was a test. Give us the wildest DM you ever
Somebody
received.
said something like, you look like you smell good at sex or something strange. There was a thing, and like it was so weird. Like I was trying to like, do I look like it or do I smell like it or like anyway?
Did you take that as a compliment or as an insult?
Listen, I've received like some pretty harassy stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like, some people get hold of my number and I get like unsolicited like videos. Like a guy sent a video of someone pleasuring themselves and then a shot of me of my Instagram and saying this is the photo that I use when I pleasure myself. Stuff like actual harassment, which is not fun for me. But yeah, for the most part, that smelling thing was very funny.
Nice. Hey, nothing tucked in, nothing toned down. Right. So some raw wisdom, real talk. Neens, you've been so open about your journey, especially with mental health, healing, and reinvention. What's something you know now that you wish you knew at 25?
You don't need to be in a relationship to be accepted by society. So stop thinking that makes you less.
Yeah.
Just because you don't have a partner doesn't make you less in society. And if people oust you for that, like that's on them. Just keep getting better at your own shit.
Oh, I love that. That's the best push-up bra moment I've heard in a while.
To the woman listening now who thinks I could never do what she does, what you do, what would you say to her?
You know how many average men do this shit?
Right? And we just do it better, the women.
Yes, Prosperity Queen Nina Hastie is going to be showing you how to do it. We absolutely love that. Nina, thank you for showing up with full honesty, full humor, and full boob energy. You've just reminded us that freedom really starts when we stop apologizing for being beautiful, incredible, intelligent women standing firmly in our queen power.
And you've been a riot, a role model, and a reckoning with your boobs out.
I appreciate it. Tits out. Listen, girls, free the nipple. Wear a bra, though. People like wear a bra not because it's like, suppressing you, but because like having your boobs like pulled your shoulders down is quite sore. So protect your back, not your boobs, or protect your boobs through and your. All I'm saying is like wear your bra for yourself, not for anyone else.
Exactly.
Just like your boobs, your dreams are meant to be held. Nina, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us, for being so honest, for being so vulnerable, for being so out there just with who you are and the mission that you're on.
Thank you, Neens. It's been amazing to get to know you, and it's been such a pleasure sharing this space with you today. It's been amazing.
Amazing, ladies. Appreciate it. And good luck with your podcast. And I hope that you reach people with this, because like these are good perspectives. I appreciate it.
Teddy truth bombs flying left, right, and center. Nina is holding nothing back in today's episode. So thank you. We're the two pink tits, reminding you to laugh out loud, live your truth, and let your tits lead the way. Until next time, a little coach. Always such a pleasure to join you in the space.
Thank you, Coach Darling. It was booby brilliance today. Thank you.
Until next time.
Bye.
This is the Two Pink Tits podcast. Two tits, no limits, one mission.
Okay, legal stuff. We are not registered psychologists or psychiatrists. We do not prescribe medication, pills, or anything other than really good high vibe ideas.
Exactly. Love that. Couldn't have put it even better.
Exactly. We are just two coaches looking to make the world a better place for women and raise our vibration collectively.
Love it. Thank you, Coach Darling.
Thanks, Coach Amy.
Bye.